business because we're talking about some indie games.
Glasses. I'm just drinking coffee. And last night we were both doing some gaming. I drank a lot of tequila. So
Oh, you did? I had one little glass of wine and played Mortal Kombat Arcade and went to sleep.
now there was like a bottle and I had like a little bit, so I just like poured it. But I have like one of those giant mugs, like a Texas Pete mug, the ones that you would get at like a convention. And it was like I had ice in it, and I was like, oh, that's like a whole thing of tequila. So I normalized out into another glass. So I had like normal drink pours, but then I drank both. So I was doing that while playing a non-indie.
Indeed, indeed. So, speaking of the indie games, what have you been playing? Because, like before the show, you were telling me you did a little score on Steam.
A little score on Steam. So, during the holidays every year there's all the Black Friday deals, but the Steam deals are always insane. And my wish list is pretty ridiculous. I've been adding every single retro game, specifically like toward the Metroidvania genre, since I do work on the book series. But I have lots of indie games in there. And so all I did was the first thing I did was I was like looking at game prices, right? And so I started going down and seeing anything that's like on sale and like under $2. And usually it's like a game, and I'm like, all right, let me buy a new game. Cool. There was like a dozen. And I'm like, oh. So I go through and like there's like a bunch of cool ass games. These are all obscure stuff that nobody's ever heard of. I was asking you before the record, do you know what Hacksaw is? Like,
Yo, Hacksaw. Tell me about that. Sounds
amazing Metroidvania platformer with like some pixel graphics. Like there's a million of those out there. Like, well, 14,000 a year apparently, according to the internets. But
nuts.
I did something else then, and this is all like in the morning yesterday. I'm just sitting here like waking up. I just type in Metroidvania, and then I sort by lowest price, and that was a mistake. Like, because I filter it on Steam so it doesn't show games I own or like games like that are demos and all that stuff. So it's just the software, the games, and I ended up buying like 60 games. Yeah, well, under $2. And so I did the indie gaming gems, and time this when this goes live, but it was like the day of. I told you I'm gonna test this and see how long it takes me to do. And I'm like, all right, so you gathered and bought the games. And these are all games that I knew about, so I didn't have to like play them all at the same time. But it was like do that, write out what I'm gonna say, edit it and record it, then go through and do all the editing for the video, and then get it all uploaded and everything. And in the middle, my wife wanted to go do lunch, so I'm like, okay, I'll absolutely go to Chipotle.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So ended up doing that, and so there was like 10 of those games, and then I have another 50 games in my list for like the indie gaming gems. And it's insane. There's like so many awesome games. So highlights from the episode, as you were saying. SteamWorld Dig was a
Ooh. Wow, really?
Downwell.
Hmm.
Gato Roboto.
Oh,
Like,
dude, yeah.
that's one we talked about.
Yeah, that's a
Like
great one.
Wonder Boy and Monster World, the original by Sega. Not indie, but retro. So I was like, let me
Mhm.
throw that sucker in there. Like, there's so many. There's a game called Ponkapoo, which I'm not even sure if you've heard of,
I
but
like it though. Sounds cool.
and it has a physical on Switch. Like, all these games have physicals too, so they're not like obscure. They're just indie gems, and like it's so cool to get them all under a couple bucks. And I did a yesterday because I had my indie gaming gems go. They go on Fridays. Well, it was Saturday, so I was like, oh, let me do a quick premiere, and then like, there were some people in there chatting and chiming in. It was pretty dope, pretty damn dope.
Yeah, we're definitely getting the community going, especially on like Facebook and Discord. We're getting a lot of folks in the community, viewers. they're sending us a lot of recommendations, and I know we talked about it a couple of episodes ago. We talked about it, but yeah, there's some really good ones. But there was a really interesting topic you had in the show notes, and you're talking about all these like cheap indie games. Uh, there was
Yeah.
the PlayStation Portal update.
Yeah, so I don't know if you were aware that this thing happened.
I heard rumblings in the bushes about it.
Yeah. So so when it came out, my wife wanted the PlayStation Portal, just because she likes to play the not the sim games, but the sim game. Like she plays Disney Dreamlight Valley every
Mm.
day. And because like when she plays, she'll play like Grand Theft Auto Online and she's a mob boss on there. But she'll play like that kind of stuff all the time. But the sim games and stuff are like she'll just power it on and play a little bit. The problem with the Portal was it required your PlayStation 5 to be on, and then you'd play it, and you would have to like not do anything else on your PlayStation. So if like I was over there watching TV or playing a different game, playing something, you can't use the Portal. The Portal has to be connected. So even if you're traveling, I'm visiting Xander out on the other side of the country. Um, and I have my Portal, it has to power up my PlayStation at home through the network. And
It's kind of like a at the time it was kind of like a glorified Wii U pad. That's what it sounds like.
kind of, but it can go through the internet.
Yeah.
So it can go through the internet so you can play it anywhere, which is really cool. However, um, have you ever played Xbox Game Pass and streamed it?
No, no, but I have streamed like PS Plus. Like the PS3 games are all like cloud based. Like you just stream them. Yeah.
So the Xbox Game Pass, like I have it on my Steam Deck, and it can literally stream to my Steam Deck my PlayStation Plus games, my Xbox Game Pass games. Not PlayStation Plus, but my Xbox. I just did a Xander scramble.
You did.
Nice. My Xbox Game Pass games. And it's pretty cool. And now Xbox recently updated it so you can do all of the games you purchase, not just the Game Pass games. That's what Xbox did. In response, PlayStation updated the Portal, and the Portal now supports streaming on certain games. So I downloaded it on my wife's Portal. I checked it out. The Dreamlight Valley's not on there, so she can't even stream that one. But it is a step in the right direction. They're probably going to mirror what Xbox did and have like all of the games available.
Oh yeah.
The other thing was, and this is where I had to ask my wife, is it worth getting because you have to have a PlayStation Pro premium account, like an extra pay to pay. So you pay for your PlayStation Pro so you can play online. And then there's a premium to get the access to play all of the PlayStation games. My wife only plays certain games, so she doesn't like do like I do with Game Pass because it's a safe deal. But do we need to upgrade to that? If and that's the question. If you already own the Portal, is this now worth it to update to PlayStation Pro Premium just to stream a few games, like maybe a dozen, 2 dozen games? There's a few in there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's like you said earlier, it's a step in the right direction. Like for now, because I have the PlayStation Premium, like on my PlayStation 5. I don't have a Portal though. But I mean, this isn't making me go like, oh man, now I need to go and buy a Portal because the thing is Portal has become like pretty affordable. Like they've had a couple of price drops on the Portal.
Nice.
And so I mean, like essentially, I mean, if there's a game that you really like, if I'm not mistaken, you could just get the Portal and you wouldn't even have to have a PlayStation 5 at this point. You could just have pay for your premium account. Is that something you could
If
do?
if it's supported. That's
Yeah.
the thing. So all the games aren't in the list. And so I think what Xbox did, now I have not checked because I use Xbox differently. But Xbox and Microsoft added every game you own that now you can stream, which is like you can do everything. So whereas PlayStation has a certain amount of games. So if you're playing any of those games in the list or a lot of those games in the list, it would be worth it. But if you want to play a bunch of crazy indie games that you're going to buy on PlayStation, it
Yeah.
may not work for all your games. So then it's like a limited thing. Reason why I say I do things weird because I'm weird, is that my Lenovo Legion Go is a Windows PC essentially. But so I use PC Game Pass for Microsoft. It's amazing. I have Game Pass. I don't own an Xbox Series X. I stopped at the Xbox One. I have an Xbox One. That's how I had Game Pass. But then, like, I was using the Steam Deck one to stream. The streaming is It was always and now it's gotten better because when they upgrade the net code and all that stuff, like the technical stuff, it plays pretty damn good. But I don't even use this Steam Deck now to stream that stuff. I just play it on the Lenovo Legion Go because it's a high-powered Windows machine. So I literally can get all the free games that Xbox and PC Game Pass do, and I can play those. And those aren't streamed; they're playing natively on my tablet with controller support. Perfect. It's flawless. It's amazing. So that's kind of how I do it. So I mean, for my family, like my wife wants to play certain games. I think she's still okay with just using the regular portal thing because I have a million other devices to play stuff on. I can play on my tablets or whatever the hell I got. I can play.
Yeah. We'll have to stay up to date to this because we'll have to celebrate like the first indie game that gets thrown on the portal. Like, what indie game do you think is going to be the first? I think it would probably be like a big one, like, probably, like one of the bigger indie games that people are playing.
Possibly it's a premium edition game.
That would be awesome.
There might already be indie games on there too, because I didn't necessarily look on there for indie games. I was just looking for like my wife's.
Yeah.
But like I can look at the list, but I can't click play because we don't have the premium account.
Uh,
So
I do like the premium because, I just the amount of games that I can play and classic games too. It's pretty cool. It's just streamlined.
question for you on that is, do you get to keep the games forever, or do they go away when your premium is gone?
I don't. I think they go away. I think they probably do go away when the premium's gone because yeah, we're talking about two different tiers here. Because I know like how it used to be. Like if you didn't have PlayStation Plus, you would lose access to those monthly game downloads. But if you no longer have premium, you probably can't no longer access like the PlayStation 1, PS2 stuff, and it's kind of lame.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, it's the same thing with the Xbox Game Passes. You get all the free games, but it's only while your Xbox Game Pass is live. I thought that the PlayStation, like, you got the monthly games, and those you get to keep. That wasn't the Pro or whatever, but it was like you had the PlayStation Network. When you signed up, you get the games, because I think I still have all of those games. I remember pushing them onto the Vita back in the day, games that I downloaded from years past on probably the PS4 or maybe even earlier. Um, but that's why I like the other system, and the other system absolutely supports indie on Windows. Do you know the other out of Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Pro? Do you know the other one? And you get to keep the games forever.
Are you talking about the man, the company that
Humble.
Epic? Oh, Humble. I was thinking about Epic
Humble.
Store. Yeah,
So I use Humble Choice every month. And every month they'll have a slew of games. A lot of them are indie. But they essentially give you Steam codes and you get to keep the games.
that's awesome. That's
And I
great.
think it's $12 a month. And typically, like, there'll be 4, 5, maybe 6 games on there, plus like little like comic book deals and stuff. But those 5 games, like I look up, like one of the games is $50 on Steam. And it's 12 for all of them. And they're not, none of them are dollar games. So I mean, there was ones, and this was ironic, is that like with premium, like a few years ago, we like signed a game, and then I think the next month it was on Humble Choice. And I was like, hey, you gotta let us know that we'll promote it. Like, but it was really crazy because it was like it was on Humble Choice for the thing. So it was like a big promotion that we were running with it, which was super dope. But like it's crazy. It's like they definitely support indie developers, and that's how they get the extra games on there. And it's not just like 2 or 3 games. You get like 5 or 6 a month for $12. And so it's a cool way.
Yeah, and speaking about supporting indie developers, we had a show recently that the developer of Pinball Spire, he caught the episode of us talking about his game, and it made his day. He was so happy about it, and I'm like, that shows you like, even if you're, and this is some of the folks that have YouTube channels and stuff like that or whatever creative, if someone is always going to be watching your stuff, and sometimes you don't know who's watching it. And that was really cool that we had Pinball Spire. His name's Tony. Last name starts with a V. I can't pronounce it right now. I don't want to mess it up. But
Sad. There's scrambles.
yeah, I don't want to mess. But he was really happy about it, and that is a game. Like even at work, I got a couple of coworkers are checking out Pinball Spire because we're talking about Steam, and I'm like, oh man, you got to play Pinball Spire. So this is one of my games of 2024 for sure. I loved it.
Oh, and it's one of the benefits of us like doing something that's fun. Like just recording the Indie Credible is a fun time. Not the goal isn't to quote unquote quit our day jobs and record podcast. Like that's not a realistic thing. It's ours is to talk about cool ass video games because we both played lots of video games. You're finding out, and I'm finding out a bunch of new stuff. And if we cover a game like Pinball Spire, which was freaking amazing, and the developer sees it, gets motivated because he knows that there are people out there that love his game, and it's pretty obscure, so maybe a lot of people didn't talk about it. And then he like makes a sequel or makes a new game in a new genre, like we all win. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. That's
Awesome.
that is there's no real goal outside of let's talk about a bunch of cool games. And it's fun as hell to do.
Yeah, but that was awesome. That was awesome.
That was dope. That was dope. Yeah, dude, it was cool as hell to hear about. And it's like as you do it, like every once in a while we'll have somebody. So chime in if you watch us on Indie Credible. Like chime in and talk. Like you never know. You might even be interacting with some of the developers because we talk about obscure stuff. And I just gave you a segue. Obscure stuff.
Obscure stuff. And speaking of obscure stuff, what have you been playing lately?
I was like, let me give him so every week I try to play a couple of obscure things. I did go down a damn rabbit hole though. I found a slew of horror movies and I create a Flex server. So I've been downloading and finding obscure VHS horror. But I did play some obscure indie games during this time. The first one I want to talk about is actually the second one on my list, and it is an old fan game. Do you know what OpenBOR is?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
VOR. So for those that don't know that are listeners, because you got to be kind of a nerd retro gamer to know what that is. I kind of figured Xander wasn't nerdy enough. OpenBOR is called Open Beats of Rage. It was like an emulator that was based off of like Streets of Rage. Historically, the thing was played like on Dreamcast. So you'd like put it on a disc and be able to play it on your Sega Dreamcast because it was like really good with the emulation on that. And of course, there was PC versions. So Open Beats of Rage, really cool, but it's not just beat 'em ups, and that's where this game comes in. This one has been in my list of games to play because it has like Metroidvania aspects, even though it's not at all. It's called Ghosts and Demons. Demons. So spiritual successor to Ghosts and Goblins and Ghouls and Ghosts. As literally like you're Sir Arthur, you're playing through. It's all brand new levels, designs. The controls play exactly like the classic, kind of a mix between Super Ghouls and Ghosts on the Super Nintendo and Ghouls and Ghosts on the Sega Genesis, which are two different games, by the way. For those that don't know, it's kind of like it goes Ghosts and Goblins, Ghouls and Ghosts on Genesis, and then Super Ghouls and Ghosts as the third one, and then Ultimate Ghosts and Goblins on PlayStation Portable. Uh, this is before that. Ghosts and Demons is before the PlayStation Portable one. It's all pixel graphics. And it's really cool because it plays classically like a Ghosts and Goblins game.
It looks exactly like it. Like if you would have just showed that to me and you didn't tell me it was a fan made game, I thought it would have been like Capcom, like retrospective new Ghosts and Goblins kind of game, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And what's cool about it is like I have it added to my Steam Deck. And so on the Steam Deck, it even has a little Ghosts and Demons icon. And wow. With some of these older games, it works or it doesn't work on Steam Deck. Like there are certain games that it won't because the games were programmed so long ago. And what Steam Deck does is it uses Proton in order to emulate a Windows like machine. So what it does is it like anticipates where the buttons would be. It anticipates how it would read graphics and music. It does all this weird mumbo jumbo in the background. That's why it's called Proton Experimental on Steam Deck. But with this one, it works flawless. So it works pretty good with this Beats of Rage Beats of Rage developed game. So I was sitting there though, playing it. It automatically mapped. I'm sitting there to my controllers, playing it perfectly. Here's the best part. I wasn't just playing it on my Steam Deck. I was playing it with my little dock on there.
Oh yeah.
A giant TV with no lag. And so I had a giant TV playing Ghosts and Demons. Now I was using the Steam Deck controller, so I was sitting back because it was like wired into it. Because I don't have I have a traditional Steam dock. Don't know where it's at, Steam Deck dock. But I have this thing I got like on Kickstarter. It's like this little box, and it was meant for the Nintendo Switch. And essentially, you plug it in. It has an HDMI. It has one USB and a power cable. Actually, it is a power cable. So then it's just those two. So I literally have that, and so like the actual the HDMI's to my TV. The actual it is like a power, but it's the power cable for the Switch. Well, that works perfectly with the Steam Deck too.
Yeah.
And so I just put it on there and it goes like huge on my screen and it's so awesome. But the game is so fun. I think I got to the second or third level. And it doesn't seem like that there are lives, but maybe there are. There probably is some kind of life. Maybe I just didn't die that much. But like the first boss was not the first boss of like the traditional, either the first boss of the NES Ghosts and Goblins or the arcade Ghosts and Goblins, where you have like the character who has like the giant head and he like throws it at you from the arcade, or like the little guy from the NES one. It wasn't that guy, it was like a brand new enemy. So there's new bosses and new enemies. Cool. And like the first level was almost a mix of level 1 and 3 from Ghosts and Goblins. So level 1, you're going through the graveyard. Level 3, you move through the woods in level 2, and then you go into like this little village with like a bunch of little like demons and stuff. And so like there was a spot I'm walking through the graveyard, and then it's like the town, and all the characters are from level 3. So I'm like, I wonder how crazy this game is, like, as you continue to go through. And it's so obscure and so indie that I haven't seen any videos on this game. Yeah, so like this, it's like a new experience to play. And I can play it on a modern console with modern amenities. It's like such a fun way. So Ghosts and Demons.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out, and what I want to do is I'm gonna find it because I have a CD burner. So I could be like, ooh, I could put this on the Dreamcast. Because when you said it, like, I just remembered, yeah, Beats of Rage was big on the Dreamcast. And I'm like, ooh, I could play this on my CRT. It's gonna be fun. That's gonna be good.
That'll be a fun adventure for Xander, because
Yeah.
I have an executable like Windows file. To put that onto a disc, I don't even know how to burn CDs anymore. That'll be a fun adventure. Oh, good luck.
Oh yeah. I can still burn Dreamcast games. I still have like an ancient like disc juggler. Do you remember disc juggler? That whole program? Oh yeah, to burn the image. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. And speaking of crazy stuff, this game.
Xander.
Oh, I came with a curveball on this one. This one was really cool. Dungeon Crawler.
Dungeon Crawler. Yes. That game
Yeah.
is such a ridiculous one. That was one of the ones from the weekly list, and I like started to play it and couldn't put it down. And it's a roguelike game. So it's a roguelike game where it's a turn-based, like almost like a role-playing game. But you use a claw machine.
Yeah. And the trailer, oh my gosh.
So like the characters are like on the bottom of the screen, and in like the roguelike fashion, it's almost like a deck builder because you'll get these attacks. You don't get cards, but you get these attacks. So you get like swords, you'll get shields, you'll get other different abilities and items and things. And instead of like giving you the card and you like choose it or you randomly get it, it drops it all into a gachapon machine.
I thought
And
that was really cool.
and then you move the claw, and then you press the button, and it scoops it up and scoops up the attacks and the shields. It drops it off to the side, and when it drops it off, that's what attacks the enemies or protects yourself. And I was like, oh, this game's super easy. I'm not even taking damage. I am like OP in it. And that I was in like the first couple battles. What I didn't realize is that your shields negate the attacks from the enemy. So I was getting lots of shields. And the problem is as I was updating and progressing in the roguelike portion, I was putting everything into attack. And so then my defenses, as I got to level 2, 3, 4, whatever level I got to, it wasn't strong enough to complete the level. So I would have to like go back and like kind of modify my loadout. And so it was very interesting because like you would sit there and like destroy enemies and you just like grab them, throw them over. They had this one that was like a grapple hook. But it was big. So this is when I would get rid of my loadout when I go back to play it again. Because like with the claw machine, like it could barely grab it. And if you grab it on the side, it might drop it. But once you get it in there, the next iteration, you have this grapple hook and it'll go through and it'll go, and it'll like go through everything and pinpoint and like grab like a really strong attack or something to attack. But I found as you play that it's not about a single attack, it's about scooping up a bunch and just like tossing it all in.
That's so yeah, dude. I saw that game and I'm like, that's so cool. And the trailer, I didn't expect the animal to get his arm cut off. Like when that part happened, I was like, this is cute. This is a nice little cutesy little gachapon, turn-based RPG. And then that arm came off like, oh, I was like, oh no.
Actually, yes. Oh, I lied.
Did it. I did. They were like, what's going on in there? But yeah, it looks awesome.
The roguelike portions are fun too because you continually upgrade and you can swap out like what gets dropped into the machine. Um, I have to learn it to get better for the later levels. That's the one thing. So like it's in the backlog, but if in order for me to go back to it now, my mental break is okay, I have to learn this whole system to get really good at it. It's very, very approachable for the first few levels. Like you'll jump in and it's fun as hell. It has a really good hook to it. It's just you have to be careful on how you do your loadout for even the next few levels because like I already screwed myself over, so I'm gonna have to start over.
Ah, that's what
Because I'm big meat hammers just trying to beat everything.
that's what makes the roguelikes fun though. It's just going back and building up your stats and everything like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
and this other game that you had,
The final one.
yeah, this was kind of weird because I remember you text me that last night and you were like you're playing it and at first I just thought it was just like a remake of the original, but then I was getting the B-roll footage off Steam and I'm looking, I'm like, hold up, this is a whole new Snow Bros with Snow Bros Wonderland. This is crazy.
Was like because I remember when it was announced and I just, oh cool, new Snow Bros. We all wait. Snow Bros is fun. It's fun as shit. And there's like Snow Bros on the NES. There's a Genesis one that was kind of like not released in the US. That's really cool. There's also like an arcade one that's badass. That's like different than the others. And then of course I think that there was like modern one in 2D either on the Wii or the PlayStation or
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of because I think there was like a Switch one that came out that was done by. Yeah, that was like. Yeah, it kind of had that, like like Ninja Return the Ninja Warriors kind of look to it where it was like remade into retro, blah blah blah. But that's what I thought it was going to be. I was like, oh, cool, he's playing that. I watched the footage, and this is a straight up like top down like 3D platformer.
Dude, it reminds me of like the feeling you have when you moved from Super Mario World to Mario 64. Like, like that's the style. Now, like to use a good comparison from the N64 era, it really felt like the Goemon games, Mystical Ninja games, or the Bomberman Hero, not the original Bombermans, but Bomberman Hero, the action adventure one. Because what's cool about it is you're on a 3D plane, and you can go through. You like hit the one top button to shoot out your snow, which is on a gauge, so you can't just spam it, which is good because it recharges enough. And then once you get enough snow on them, they turn to a snowball and they zoom all over the 3D plane. It's so addictive. It's so cool. The platforming itself is really spot on. I don't recall there being any death traps, so I don't think that there's any like platforming challenging parts. But as you go through, you get to a level and then you go to a warp and then you move to the next portion of the level. But all the levels are like a little mini world that you go through. And so they're all like interconnected worlds in the level. And in each one, there's usually a like golden present to find too. Some of them require you to beat like a bunch of enemies within a certain amount of time. And you could like go back and forth to keep trying it. So that way, if you don't kill all 3 enemies in 20 seconds, I was having trouble with one of those. I just went back to it and you could do it again. So there's no like super penalty of having to like replay a level to do it. But then there's hidden packages too. So if you like, I did this without even knowing. I beat the first world boss under a certain amount of time and didn't take any damage. And so I got 2 extra presents, and it says how many presents there are in every world so you can complete the game. The presents, though, are what's cool. So the presents give you power-ups so you can like get stronger snow, but also like cosmetics, like you can get a hat or glasses. And as I finished World 1, I found or unlocked, I think it was in World 2, the Jason Voorhees hockey mask. So I'm stuck. I'm dead. My life is as as the Camp Crystal Lake murder in Snow Brothers Wonderland.
What a timeline! What a timeline!
What a time we listen. Where did Jason chop off that arm? And
That's a totally different turn. I wasn't expecting that Easter egg. That's crazy.
no, it was hilarious. I actually have a picture and I'll send it to you so you could maybe put it up on the screen.
Here's the question. Here's the question. Is it Jason Voorhees or is it Rick from Splatterhouse?
Ooh, it could be because it doesn't have the V. It has the rays around the eyes. It's not a red mask though; it's white. So it's not TurboGrafx Splatterhouse. It'd be PC Engine Splatterhouse because I'm a super nerd and I know that.
Yeah, we like our blood red, not green. Yeah.
Yes. So the interesting thing is, and maybe other members of the community do this same stuff. So there's games I have that just go into the backlog. Like the stuff that we put on the horizon goes into the backlog, and we try to maybe pop it up every once in a while. If Steam Deck ever had the damn deck roulette start working again, I would just be able to play more random games, which would be amazing. Right now, I just have to like manually choose something, which Gulp Creek. There's too many. Process of choice. Too many games. But what I do with these games, and I find out it's the mid-tier backlog. I don't know if anybody else has a mid-tier backlog. So I'll play Snow Brothers Wonderland. Enjoy. Had a great night. And this was like, Friday night or something. Had a great night playing Snow Brothers Wonderland. I play through the goals, play through the first world, and then I never go back.
Yeah, I've done that. I always feel guilty when I do that too. I always feel bad.
I mean, it was like, the first or second year of the Switch. Dragon Quest 11. The Dragon Quest 11.
Yeah.
I went
That,
through and I played the hell out of the game. Probably put like 40 hours into it, and I beat the main end boss. I thought it was the main end boss, right?
yeah.
I grinded the shit out of played it. Apparently that's part one of three in the game, and there's another 80, 100 hours. I'm like, so I've beaten the whole first chapter in Dragon Quest 11, and it was fun. It was great. It was amazing. I would love to go back. It was
It's
an
funny.
awesome experience.
It's funny you mentioned that because I had something similar with that in the sense that I played the demo because the demo's long. The demo is like 2 hours, and it carries over. It carries over to the real game. So I beat the demo. I was like on cloud nine. I'm like, I want to buy it. I've ended up finding a used copy. I got it. Haven't played it.
The
That
demo issue. See, that's another one. Play through the damn demo. Play the demo a lot. Never play the game.
Yeah. I was like, dang. And I would keep telling myself, I'm like, well, I've already got the demo beats. I already got the, the ins and outs. I already get it all figured out. So I'll just jump in. And now if I try to jump in, I probably don't even remember what I was doing now. So I would have to essentially probably start at the very beginning and just re-download the demo.
That depends. I used to do that, and that was probably like, I would say 15 years ago, because I'm real old. I used to have to do that. Like, I remember doing that with Final Fantasy 12 on the PlayStation 2 and had to like restart the game because I got to a point where I like didn't remember where to go. But with modern games, I think Dragon Quest 11 included, within the last 5 years, maybe 10 years. Yeah, 10 years for Switch. That's crazy. But um they have it so that way, like especially Final Fantasy, or I did Xander Scramble, Dragon Quest 11, it gives you like a little cinematic of where you were.
Yeah.
So if I go put it on right now, it'll be like, here's the story. Let me catch you back up like an anime. And
Yeah.
like, so it does that. And the key is a game that did this where I randomly did go back to it was Hollow Knight. And when I played Hollow Knight, I hit a wall because you start off, you suck at it. You have to get good. You have to get used to it. You have to power up a little, get a couple. And I got to it, and then I got to a crazy ass boss, and like, I'll play it later. And then about a year or two later, I ended up powering it up during the holiday season, kind of like now, and it clicked. And I played through the whole thing after that. It was like that was my holiday game, and it ended up being one of my favorite games of all time on Switch at this point. And so it does work out, especially those in the community. Like when you're chiming in with your stuff, did it ever work out with the game for you too? Like
Yeah.
when did it do it right? Because like Hollow Knight for me did it right. I'm hoping that Snow Brothers Wonderland does it right for me, but I don't know because it has to be that perfect amount. And the problem is with you and I is we have projects that we do, like a podcast where we like to play new stuff. And I do YouTube channel, and you do a YouTube channel where you do the play and tells, and we want content for it. And then
Exactly. Yeah.
and I'm working on books and craziness. Like I templated out a book. I sent you a template to it. And it is because I finished the complete Genesis, completely all of the contributors, the community reviews are in it. I am now because Saru Mario YouTube channel, DJ Medina, Saru Mario has been trying to get me to do a TurboGrafx 16 PC Engine book for years. And so I said, template it out. There's a special edition Super Nintendo book because he did the art for it. I'm doing a dust sleeve for my Super Nintendo book for people as a bonus. I have 100 copies left of that book, and I will be sending them all to me, and we'll be doing a special Saru Mario edition.
That's awesome.
And then I templated out the TurboGrafx book. So now, and this is where the rabbit hole gets deep, Xander, when it comes to indie games and backlogs, is that how many, not TurboGrafx 16, but PC Engine games are out there that you and I have never heard of. And then I'm going to sit there and template it out before I play and write about it, template it out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a game that's off of after Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and Turbo and all that shit. There's Power Rangers was like Zoo Ranger. It kept going. There's a freaking PC Engine game based off of this, and it's a 2D action game. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, PC Engine is quite the rabbit hole. There's a lot of PC Engine stuff because I mean I feel like this is just common knowledge for people that are listening because you guys are probably crazy like we are. But yeah, I mean there the NES was very popular, but the PC Engine was huge in Japan. So there's a lot of exclusives. You know,
Yeah.
that's gonna be.
One.
Woo.
And I went hipster with this one because normally my complete books, it has like 3 games per page. It's a white, clean background. It has a box art screenshot, a little bit of synopsis, and a way to check off your stuff. This one, because I'm working with an artist, I was like, let me go a little fancier. So I'm doing 2 games per page because I'm like, oh, Turbo's smaller. 2 games per page, and it's going to be the box art, the screenshot, but in the background is a lighter version of another screenshot that like there's big chunky pixel. It looks cool as shit.
That's really
Didn't
cool.
make I didn't initially make it lighter, but then I changed it to make it lighter so it's more readable. And I have a nice little synopsis in there. Now, the Genesis book that I just had, that it's on Kickstarter, and people should be able to support it. That one took me 7 years. I just started Turbo, so I'm hoping because I'm streamlining processes that it doesn't take
Oh my
me.
gosh.
My goal is 7 months.
Yeah.
Done. 7 years to 7 months. That would be hilarious. But I already have it all templated out. I did that before I played Snow Bros Wonderland. I templated it out, so it is with 2 games per page. I went through Turbo CD, PC Engine CD, and all the weird shit. There's a lot of weird shit, Xander.
Yeah, a lot of weird like arcade cards and little stuff like that.
It's normal. I'm talking weird shit like the aftermarket homebrew scene.
Ooh, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Unlicensed games that aren't games. And like and then I went to, if you've ever heard of the PCFX, I also have the complete PCFX library on there, which that may or may not be an add-on depending on the size. Because right now, with all of that just templated out, not with no art in place yet, because I've already been spending the last year researching it. It's already at 500 pages. So 500 is like what a good max page count is. And that's before community stories. So
Wow. I
that's
can't wait. I can't wait to hear those too. Man. Jeez.
So I am working on it, and even last night before I started drinking and playing the non-D game called Dragon Quest 3, the 2.5D remake. Before I started playing that, I did a few inputting in some artwork and stuff. I got through PC Engine doing the screenshots because I've already gathered it all up and taken pictures from emulators to make sure it looks good. But yeah, so that's a cool rabbit hole. Though I'm always working on projects, and I'm doing that concurrently while I'm working on the indie games book. Same time. Um, and then because there's Black Friday sales going on, and I finally got the Switch collector books available for sale because I've been working on a complete Switch collection book series, and I have year 1 and 2 books in year 2 done. I finally got them on back, and I can sell them on the website. And now people are like, "Where's year 3?" And took me 7 years to do the Genesis book. I think I'm in year 2 or 3 working on year 3. I've been working on it for that many years. And
Jeez.
it's one of those where there's a lot of information. And so it's time. And I just like get in a mindset to sit there and do that. And then I'm having fun playing indie games. So I'd rather play indie games than talk about it here on the podcast. But that was a little game book break for you. Game book break.
Well, I was thinking, you just said sometimes you gotta turn your brain off and play some indie, and I think that's a great segue to Over the Horizon. Well, the games that we are looking into, Dokimon Quest.
The crazy shit that I find. That's the thing. Like throughout the weeks. And yeah, Dokimon Quest looks very interesting. To me, looks like Game Boy Color Pokemon.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking when I saw it. I'm like, this is charming. It looks nice. I like.
Or Digimon. Digimon is one. I mean, it looks really, really cool. As you probably are gonna cut to a thing.
Oh yeah.
got my research here, so that way I'm not just going shooting from the hip this week. But yeah, no, the game looks awesome. The pixel graphics though, because you can tell like somebody created this from scratch, like the actual characters, like the artwork is done really well, and then the profile pictures are really cool too, like the characters look really cute. So yeah, I got no complaints with how this game looks. It looks like you get the characters that follow you around, like your little Pokemon, your Digimons. Fight
The Power World and Power World pals. They're just
Pokemons. Now it's Dokimons instead of Digimons or Pokemons. It's Dokimons. But no, the game looks cool. I haven't had, again, finding all these games, haven't had time to purchase, play, buy, enjoy yet. This is just like that's what the On the Horizon is like a preview of stuff that, eventually we may play some of this stuff.
indeed, and you know, if for anyone who's watching or listening, if you've played any of the games that we have on our all over the horizon, by all means, let us know what you think. I mean, don't if it's a story-driven game, don't spoil it, but let us know. Like, hey, you guys are on point. You guys are on the money with this game. This game you guys do definitely need to check out, and we can like update with another episode and all that stuff. So I think that's pretty awesome.
It would also impress us that you know these obscure ass games that we talk about.
Indeed.
Because most of the time it's obscure as hell.
Yeah, most of the, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I don't know about. Like I jump on the episode and I'm just like, okay, what's going on now, Alice? This little rabbit hole are we going down? What's happening? The Mad Hatter with his tequila.
Dun 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 dun. A little liar added, baby.
And this the last game,
The other one
is it Atlas? Is that where it's called?
It's ATYLYSS, and I think it is Atlas.
Okay. Well, I haven't had a chance.
It's wild.
I haven't had a chance to check out the trailer, but from reading on Steam, it says a single-player online RPG where you can fight with or against friends in a surreal world filled with creatures beyond comparison. Customize and process your characters, complete quests, and discover strange locations. Sounds like right up my alley.
Oh my. Yeah, so the graphics themselves look like a PS2 to PS3 era with cute pixel art. It looks cool as hell. The thing is that if you like do a few Google searches on it, like the people that are talking about, there's lots of memes about it and lots of fun stuff because it's a community driven game and there's a lot of people playing it. So it reminds me of something, and there's some games in here that I'm like, okay, this is something my daughter would like because she plays Roblox all the time. And this is like a Roblox style. Now there are like platforming sections, and again, this kind of goes into like Snow Bros Wonderland style, where it's like a little 3D action game.
It made it made me think of when you said PS2, the first game I thought of was like Dark Cloud. Kind of has that Dark Cloud kind of feel because you're going through the dungeons and it was the way the rendering of the caves and everything. I'm like, man, this is cool. It's like a 3D little hack and slash, but
Yeah,
it's cool.
Well, and like when you attack, like I got the trailers going on the loop here. When you attack, like there's like little like HPs that pop up too, like little damage numbers, which reminds me of like a Ease game or a Dragon Quest Modern where you're actually attacking and not just doing the turn based. But there's like also like the little platforming spots to get up to the next sections, and you get to like choose your avatars and create your own characters. I think there's like one bunny with big hips, and that's the meme. It's like there's like that they're choosing that character because it's humorous to them.
Indeed.
But the thing is that the creativity allows you to express yourself within the game, and that is something that a lot of newer like younger gamers enjoy, is like putting themselves into a giant massive online world. Now here's the question for you, Xander, is like, can we both get it and play it online? That's the question. Like, I don't know, so we have to find out.
Yeah. Well, I was kind of confused when I was looking at the Steam thing because it said like that's online, but it's a single player. Like I was like, oh, you can be either single player or online. So you can play it single player. You don't have to go online and converse with people if you don't want to, it looks like.
Or was it a really bad way of saying that the game is not couch co-op, but it's one player and then there's online portions to it?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I thought that the game was, but I didn't really read up on it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, it looks cool though.
school set. I only added a couple because I knew we'd go on some Black Friday tangents this week.
Oh yeah.
Dude, it's a wild looking game, and I mean, there's more though. I have way more than those two that I found, and every week there's way more than the couple that I add to the podcast. It's insane.
I'm looking at the Steam thing, and I do have one friend on Steam that wants the game. Like they have it as a request, so that's pretty crazy.
Is it me? No.
But I have it on here. I was like, oh wow. So if you're listening, I'm gonna go ahead and because it's his YouTube channel. The last line.
Nice.
If you're listening, you got good taste. Let us know how it is.
Yeah,
For sure.
and I mean, we can all last line it up and all get the game and play online.
Oh, that's good. That was good.
Yeah. But I mean, that's always the cool thing is if we could ever, get our shit together, we could all play like a indie credible like online thing sometime. But that requires coordination. We're all
We're very
crazy.
we're on coffee and tequila.
Sometimes at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's gonna wrap one up for us.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, yes. And who knows when this will air? Probably after the new year. So it'll be a fun time. Hopefully some of these sales that I'm talking about from like the previous holiday sales are still going on. So you can still get some of these awesome games for a couple bucks.
Indeed, and if not, just put them on your Steam wish list because they'll be on sale eventually.
Yep. And there's no limit to the amount of games you can have on your wish list on Steam. Mine is gigantic. And every week or two, I'll check and just sort by lowest price. All right, what's on sale today? And look. But when I have hundreds of games, like there's no hurry for me to spend a lot of money on brand new stuff. Kind of why my wife talks crap when I buy a new Switch game. And she's like, but you have more games to play than your life. So I'm like, but I want to play Dragon Quest.
I can't believe that. I don't know
I
what.
want to play the new Mario RPG game that's sitting right here sealed that I haven't opened yet.
Oh, jeez. Yep, it's the way it is. But as always, support indie.
Thank you, everyone, for checking out this episode of Indie Credible. There we go. Make sure you follow us. We have lots of stuff going on every week on YouTube on Fridays, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you check out Indie Gaming Gems. That is the structured review/preview series about 10 indie games you may not have heard of.
And you can check me out, Xander Skullion, across the board. I kept it real simple for you guys. You can check me out on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. And, on my channel, I cover a little series called Play and Tell, where I talk about games I've been playing, leave little short impressions, mini reviews, and most importantly, when you walk away, you have something new to play. So you can check out my Play and Tell series. I also have some reviews that I put out every once in a while, and a live stream, which I'm really trying to commit and have a dedicated schedule. So that's more important that you hit the bell so you're notified whenever I'm live, because you never know. I might be live right now.
Yes, he's always live. Oh, always. And then, of course, I have all of my books at HagensAlley.com. You could check out. I've had like dozens of books published. I try to upload and keep things up to date with the latest reviews, the latest books up there, but they have to be in hand. So if you follow me on social medias, you'll see when the newest Kickstarter goes live, the backer kit goes live, the newest crowdfunding thing is going live. And as soon as you become a backer, there's updates that go out all the time. So we're always working on new books and new series and new things. Of course, upcoming, coordinated with this podcast, will be Indie Gaming Gems, which will be coming out next year sometime. It'll be fun time here for us in the indie gaming world.